Hey everyone, Chloe here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers, welcome. So today's Feminine School video will be all about an often hidden, dirty secret and the often hidden nasty world of in-laws. So this video is very necessary to demystify what can often happen after marriage, and is for any woman who wants insight into marrying the man of their dreams and the often complicated family dynamics that he comes with. And this video is for my listeners who say that they want to be married as a standard, or the currently married women who listen to my channel who have written me about their nasty in-laws and their ability to strain your relationship. And this video is also for the women who are divorcing or who are officially divorced, who can affirm and attest to the absolute nightmare of marrying into a difficult family. Because there are so many women, young and mature, who are in the dark or who are inexperienced or who have very surface knowledge about marriage dynamics, or who have very fairy tale magical thinking about what a marriage actually is and the common forces that will often interrupt a marriage, cancel a marriage, make a marriage unbearable, and the forces that will work overtime to ensure that a marriage is unsuccessful. And due to the popularity of the Meghan Markle and the royal family conversation, and yes, some feathers will be ruffled in this video, but a conversation about the hidden impact that your in-laws can have over the quality of your marriage is long overdue. So ladies, to start, your in-laws are your extended family members through the unification of marriage on both sides. And this includes your mother-in-law, if there is one, your father-in-law, if there is one, your sister-in-law, your brother-in-laws, and the matriarch, which is normally a mother, a grandmother, an elder sister, a great aunt, or if you are super unlucky, all of the above. When healthy, and if you are lucky, your in-laws are your support system, your rock, your encouragement, and they will provide an emotional space where you can find acceptance, love, fun times, happiness, the celebration of babies, and creating great memories. Our in-laws can also be an extension of a family support system in those sad times when we bury our parents, our siblings, or when the death of a family member happens out of the blue. This is what most wives think and expect that they're going to receive when newly married. More family, more love, more encouragement, and more support. And it is not naive to have those expectations of support, because the dream of marriage does not only include a husband, it is also the dream of having a supportive family. But the aforementioned is typically the exception and not the rule, as most marital unions are rife with toxic family members, narcissistic relatives, insecure relatives, hateful relatives, envious, seething relatives, alcohol and drug abuse, generational curses, meddling and entitled mother-in-laws, money-grubbing opportunists. These are your broke relatives, envious and territorial sister-in-laws, and families who are double hockey stick bent on undermining and destroying your sacred union. And these circumstances that are beyond your control are pretty much more normal than people would like to imagine. And unfortunately, many wives-to-be are never warned, forewarned, or they really don't have a clue about what they are about to step into. So when I hear the masculinas and the dusties say things like, oh, Meghan Markle knew what she was getting into, or she knew what it was, or she knew what it would take for her to be a royal, there are many wives-to-be who are naive, particularly when love is involved, and who are not aware of what are often very private, toxic family dynamics and private power struggles until they are completely absorbed into the family fold after the fact. And this notion that a person can always avoid traps, avoid mistakes, is completely stripping of a person's humanity and takes away from the lessons that are often learned from living the actual experience. So here are 13 common power struggles that many unsuspecting women, wives, and wives-to-be are not aware of with marriage and their in-laws. Number one, Contrary to popular belief, getting married can be one of the most stressful periods in a woman's life, as the news of getting married won't always be welcomed or received well. Not only will your in-laws be on high alert, but the matriarchs of the family will either welcome you or see you as a potential threat. Number 2, at first, most families will wear the mask and show you politeness and display niceties. That is until the mask is dropped. All families have a representative image. That is until the facade has run its course. Then it's daggers and egos and knives out. Number 3, most wives are disliked and resented by her husband's female in-laws. If a woman happens to get along with her mother-in-law, please trust and believe that that is the exception and not the rule, particularly if your mother-in-law is unmarried and or is in an unfulfilling marriage herself. Mother-in-laws are notorious for hating on their daughter-in-laws for dividing up the attention pie that a mother has grown accustomed to getting from her son. Number 4, when wives have children, they often will have the expectation that extended family will jump at the chance and the opportunity to nurture, babysit, coddle, protect, and love on the incoming little ones. And when it doesn't happen, new mothers are often very sad, hurt, angry, and disappointed, especially when that rejection comes from her husband's family. And yes, there are mother-in-laws who don't like babysitting and who won't even watch their own grandkids. So wives-to-be, do not assume that your husband's mother will automatically have your back. Number 5, most wives-to-be are never prepared for the amount of hate, pushback, emotional violence, and rejection that comes with marrying into another man's family. But it is a reality that most wives will have to swallow in order to make their marriages work. Wives who are in toxic family dynamics will need strong boundaries with in-laws and sometimes even personal therapy and a very radical self-care routine to not drive themselves bat-ish crazy. Number 6, practicing hypergamy even further complicates the emotions of other women family members, particularly if they themselves are not being provided for. They will resent you, hate you, envy you, and pray for your marriage's downfall. Why? Because women are competitive and comparative in the realm of men and provision, even when those men are sons and brothers. Number 7, the more prestigious or elevated your catch, this is your husband or your fiance, the more daggers and vitriol will be thrown your way. And this is particularly true as we have witnessed with Meghan Markle. Prince Harry is what would be considered a high value catch. Handsome, young, virile, attractive, wealthy, royal, has a lineage, a pedigree. And please note that I said catch, not prize, as Meghan Markle is still the prize. Number 8, as irrational as it sounds, in-laws can and will dislike you for any reason and no reason at all. Even more frustrating, your in-laws don't really need a reason to dislike you. You getting in the family way and taking away attention and resources is a good enough reason, as is the case with Meghan Markle, who pretty much outshines the entire royal family in terms of energy, looks, and presentation, which is why they wanted to lock her up and to throw away the key. Number 9, dysfunctional families can come in all shades. There seems to be this belief that only Black people or poor people have dysfunctional families, and nothing could be further from the truth. Like it or not, Harry's family is dysfunctional. And if you've ever watched The Crown or Princess Diana's documentary, both of which are on Netflix, you would see the deep levels of repression, dysfunction, family baggage, and how messed up the royal family has been in history and to each other. Number 10, this same unwelcoming energy can also apply to interracial marriages. And some of you may not want to hear this, but white in-laws can be just as toxic, insecure, and crazy-making as the Black ones, and every other race or culture in between. As I mentioned in my interracial video, my sister is married to my Turkish brother-in-law, who is an amazing provider and husband, and she is hated by both her brother-in-law, his wife, and his mother. So do not think for one second that interracial marriages are all about welcoming mats, church hugs and popping champagne, where your mother-in-law is going to roll out the red carpet for you, especially if her son is the breadwinner. Do not let these interracial commercials gas your head into thinking that white families do not hate on black women who marry into their families, particularly if there is wealth involved. Many black women do not openly speak on this shame and this embarrassment, but racism is real, and the hatred that is a part of the package is real, and oftentimes there is no resolution other than to accept that you won't be accepted. And I noticed that during the Oprah interview that Meghan Markle could not even say the word race, but gladly her husband Harry had no problem calling it out, as he should. Number 11, sometimes a wife will have to accept that the only unconditional love that she will ever get will be directly from her husband and her children. As is the case with Meghan and Harry, a husband who risked the loss of family and country to protect his wife and his growing family. And although this family rejection is a very tough pill to swallow, in reality, many in-laws are notoriously a huge disappointment in terms of being a support system. At number 12, there are many instances where a husband is forced to choose between his wife and his extended family, and this is not uncommon, as extended families can be very territorial and full-on bullies that will play push and pull games with your husband's loyalties. In those instances, a husband must truly be totally in love with his wife for this to work, as some men cannot imagine themselves without their extended family. Ladies, your future husband will need leadership, problem solving, and resolution skills in order to navigate this typical family chaos. And quite frankly, a masculine man should always have problem solving skills in his tool belt. Otherwise, he will be in a continuous battle of tug of war. And men who don't have their wives' backs usually will lose the respect of their wives. Number 13, and this is a solution. If you are in a dilemma, a disagreement, you are being challenged, mocked, bullied, dragged, neglected, picked on, or if you are a receiver of microaggressions from your husband's family, always, and I mean always, have your husband or fiance address it. Some in-laws are inclined to instigate arguments and are inclined to pick fights due to power struggles, wanting to have the upper hand out of boredom, competition, or even good old-fashioned envy. But it is your husband's responsibility to defend your honor, your well-being, and to emotionally protect you by putting his out-of-pocket family members in their rightful place. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. Ladies, your in-laws will not always embrace you with love, kindness, and acceptance. But when you are married to a man who can put his masculine foot down to ensure that you are protected and cherished, that is what I call being married to a winner. So to get this conversation started, ladies, is being accepted by a man's mother very important to you? And have you ever had a nasty mother-in-law, or what is even becoming even more common, a nasty sister-in-law? Have your in-laws ever tried to ruin your marriage? And lastly, do you think that the royal family is jealous of Meghan Markle's beauty? As always, I look forward to reading your amazing comments below, and stay tuned for more marriage videos to come, and I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.